The Nevada legislature just passed a bill that essentially gives about $500,000 of your taxpayer money to fund illegal alien defense services in this state. About a week ago, Sisolak just signed a law which provides $500,000 that gives people who violated federal law to get legal representation to reduce the chances of deportation. Think about it. Now, this was a bill that I talked about a few months ago. Because of so much opposition, the sanctuary aspect, the cooperation with local law enforcement, was removed. This bill barely got any media coverage. Bill known as AB 376. As the weeks went by during the legislature, I was thinking like, well, whatever happened to this bill? Did they shove it down? Apparently, they brought the hearing at the Senate floor within the last few days on a Saturday. And then they put this bill on the legislature's schedule just about 2-3 days before the whole Nellis webpage. So they wanted to make sure that this can get shoved down and people have very little time to prepare and spread the word. They had the Senate hearing, believe it or not, last Saturday. They were basically talking about it 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night when a lot of people were obviously having a good time in the Memorial Day weekend. And in the last few hours of the legislative session, in Memorial Day, the Senate passed this. And guess what? When they shoved this down really, really fast, it gave the opportunity for Sisolak to sign this in law. Can you believe how shady and how so untransparent this really is?
Correct me if I'm wrong. This is taxpayer support for individuals who fail to follow our immigration laws. This is unfair to my relatives who spend a lot of time and energy following immigration law. The fact is, this is an incentive for breaking the law, and it's not efficient in times of massive surges of increase currently at the border. The fact is that, yes, deportation can be harsh, and it's true that the immigration process is tough, but what we should be doing is finding out and auditing employers and e-verifying every single employer to make sure that we reduce the incentives of people who fail to follow our immigration law to continue. I also believe birthright citizenship is the problem, which is why families are being separated. Harry Reid was against it in 1993. I can tell you, as a resident of the state of California for 25 years, the state has been very generous for immigrants, regardless of status, has resulted in an increase in taxpayer-funded benefits, has resulted in increase in taxes. And look at the state now. Companies are leaving in droves. It's absolutely a nightmare. And what I'm really upset about the most is politicians that are putting American citizens under the bus and are putting the needs of non-citizens over the American people. We urge you to vote no on this bill and put American citizens first and give employment opportunities and other opportunities to American citizens. Thank you so much.
These lobbyists try to push this through in 2019 in Clark County, and it couldn't go through because they wanted to make sure the city council was going to be for it, and I spoke out against it. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking like $500,000, that's probably not a lot of money, but think of it this way. That money could have been used to help a lot of vulnerable people in Nevada, and we're using our taxpayer dollars, which, you know, I guess they can believe they can spend any kind of money that they want, and of course they'll use that as an excuse, some other reason to raise our taxes even further, to basically help illegal aliens who violated our immigration law. Now, $500,000, obviously, you know, how much I have in equities, certainly, you know, doesn't seem like a lot of money, but nevertheless, aren't you incentivizing people to come here illegally? Is that the reason why we should not support these policies, considering the fact that we have an open border situation right now? And by the way, I think this is all a setup to kind of show how the establishment is so reckless and how they want to open borders to make them look really bad. But the reason why they promoted this bill is, oh, it's because of family separation, that ICE comes in and takes the parent away and separates their family. Folks, this is what I told them about a while ago. The real situation here is birthright citizenship. This means that even people can come from East Asia, go to the Pacific Islands, which is U.S. soil, have the baby, and that baby becomes an automatic U.S. citizen. That's unfair to me and my mom, who had legal status as well. It's a complete disgusting situation. And of course, Reid spoke out against this in 1993.
If you break our laws by entering this country without permission and give birth to a child, we reward that child with U.S. citizenship.
Well, as a result, we want to see who are those sponsors. Now, as you know, probably the largest promoter of unlawful immigration, perhaps I see her as a tool. I see her as a plant.
Will you say hello to Cyrus, please?
Excuse me, sir.
American citizens first.
I see her as someone because she is young, Hispanic, a female. They say that as a marketing tool to get votes. She is the largest promoter of this kind of activity. And you can see her district is fairly hellish. It looks like a third world state. She describes about, oh yeah, her father is hardworking and came from El Salvador, which I met her parents. They came here illegally. So that means she is technically a citizen due to our birthright citizenship process, also known as being an anchor baby. And they always say, oh, they're so hardworking. Yeah, many of them even admit that they steal fake social security numbers in order to get jobs. Folks, this is just so unfair to the people like my relatives who spend a lot of money on their own to get legal status. And as you know, when you debate the facts, they call you racist, bigot, xenophobe. They just walk away. They don't even talk to you. Now, of course, there's been some like Flores that had the willingness to do so, because obviously, you know, maybe they do have some good points, or they don't want to show themselves as weak. Now, thank God they do, and you have to thank them for that.
Hello, Mr. Flores.
How you doing?
How's it going?
Good, thank you.
It's great to see you. I was wondering if you could have a public meeting about how 300,000 people here in the state that don't have papers, how it's benefiting us, because I don't see the benefit.
You can always set that up, of course. That's important.
Well, I'd like to know, because the numbers and the reality doesn't look good. I mean, no offense. I mean, your district is not pretty.
I don't know what pretty means.
As in, like, condition of buildings and, you know, things like that.
Oh, infrastructure.
Brand new building in
yeah. So yeah, I just invested $1.5 million in the district, and we're incredibly happy to do that.
Okay.
I think unfortunately, one of the big problems we've been having is people don't invest back in our communities. What happens is individuals make some money in life, and then they move out of the communities, and it's an unfortunate reality that happens all over the U.S. It's not just limited to a specific area.
I appreciate that, and I'm more than happy to help. I was raised in Southern California. I've seen high immigrant population centers, and their neighborhoods look much attractive. If you go to Anaheim, Irvine, Whittier, and Downey, you know what I'm talking about. But the thing is that the numbers and the data I'm seeing about immigration here in Nevada is not looking pretty. So I'm asking you kindly let's have a public meeting. Let's share these information, because look, I don't care about being wrong. I'm just interested in knowing the facts.
If you really want a meeting, brother, I would turn off the camera and I would talk to him as a member of the State Assembly.
Okay.
The other lobby for this, believe it or not, was of course the UNLV immigration clinic. And one of the individuals behind this is Michael Kagan. In case if you don't know, he is Jewish. And why is that important? Because he views these ICE raids as somehow being part of the Holocaust. Can you believe it? Now, these people who came here illegally chose to come into the United States. But this is the kind of fear that they put in, all these emotions they bring in. And let's not forget Sylvia Lassos, who also works at the UNLV School of Law. She is one of the largest proponents of illegal immigration into the state of Nevada. In fact, she actually, believe it or not, defends and stands with the Culinary Union, Mi Familia Vota, many different organizations that open and shill for open borders. She is one of the largest advocates, and we need to do what we can to expose these people all across the valley so that these people are embarrassed and they will either explain what they're doing or they'll have to essentially resign from their positions. We have statistics. We know that what we're doing is right, but again, these folks don't want to debate us, and as a matter of fact, just looking at these neighborhoods, just looking at these third world hellish conditions, you can basically see that, and I've done a mini documentary, I'm going to upload the video very, very soon, that it's not working based on these conditions. It just simply looks like the third world. It's just disastrous. And I've talked about how remittances, which are not helping the American people, how is that contributing to the economy? They talk about, oh yeah, this is diversity, but we all know that diversity is not the goal. Despite the fact, yeah, diversity has its issues, the ultimate goal is replacement. It's pretty obvious. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of what replacement is because YouTube may take down this video. However, bottom line, it is unfair. It's a slap in the face to the people who did it legally. They talk about, oh, we have the right to stay and all that, but what they really want is more resources from us. They want to increase our taxes so they get more resources, not just legal services, not just public schools, not just essentially government assistance programs for their U.S. citizen children, but pretty soon they're going to demand Medicaid from the state of Nevada. Think about that. And where has been a state that's actually occurred? This is the best argument you have. The state of California. Taxes are very, very high as a result. The new voter base as well. Keep that in mind. Businesses are leaving. It reported the first decline in population in its state history. I thought all these illegals and legals as well, they were supposed to be helping so much because California has the highest rate of them. Well, apparently that proves otherwise. And they all say it's about the community. We all know the whole agenda about this. This is about labor. This is about more business, especially if you're home builders. Remember, the construction industry benefits a lot from it. I've done videos about it. This is about a power structure to benefit the Wall Street elites who control much of the casinos, like Jim Murren, who backed Sisolak. That's why he signed this. He needs more voters. Basically, he knows that a lot of people see him as corrupt. He's not serving the American people, just like Harry Reid, so they need replacement votes. And as you know, more importantly, they control the phony labor unions like Culinary, who supported this bill as well, to basically pump votes for these scumbag politicians. That's how it really, really works. And as you know, despite the fact that they get resources, they're going to continue to claim that we're going to support these politicians, even though these people didn't really get enslaved about 150 years ago. They haven't been segregated. That, oh, we're being oppressed. Oh, the system is somehow racist to us. We need more resources. They're going to play identity politics. But all this is done is to distract from the major issues, divide the country, and find a way for these corrupt politicians to get the replacement votes to continue their political machine humming. And of course, they're going to ignore the fact that, well, there's no MS-13 gangs, there's no drug cartels, it's all fake. 100% of them are somehow perfect. Folks, connect all the dots. When you're seeing how the modern woman has changed and she's not having lots of children, this is also part of the plan. They want to make the domestic population not have children so they can bring in the replacement people, which they have higher fertility rates, to carry on their agenda. Not just here, but also in Europe, which debunks the whole Native American argument. Think about all the impacts that we've seen in our public schools, all the overcrowding, and all the taxes that have been raised. Now, I know many of you are very, very hopeless. Many of you are thinking like, oh my gosh, well, what can we do? Are we doomed? Is Nevada going through a black hole? No. It's our opportunity to fight, and I'm pretty confident we can win this battle. Number one, you need to contact the people who supported this bill. Tell them why this bill was supported and how this is fair and how this will benefit the people of Nevada and why was this shoved down through within the last few days of the legislature. Number 2, contact your local city council and county commissioners. I've contacted people like Victoria Seaman, Michelle Fiore, the Henderson and Boulder City council members. I've contacted Nye County, Lander County. Contact all these people so they can adopt a resolution to say no to this law, because this is wasting taxpayer money that violates federal law that could have been used for other better purposes. Also, what you want to do is you want to contact many other lawyers, because we know that a lot of these laws can be overturned through a court of law. I've done that as well. Certainly it's not going to be cheap, but I'm willing to do this because I'm willing to send the message to the whole world that we have borders, that we have sovereignty, and we can't just let anybody come in and get stuff from us, whether they like it or not, and push us around. Also, another thing you have to do is spread the word. Get this video out, spread it all over social media, spread it all over the community, put flyers, put banners, do what you can, because the problem is mainly a lot of people don't even know that such law actually exists. In addition to that, you're going to see many of the elected officials in an upcoming event this coming July. What you want to make sure is that there's a town hall where many of the people who supported this bill, you want to go over there, you want to make sure and ask them what went on, why they supported it, and how this proves possibly that they should never be reelected again. Folks, I see this as an opportunity for us to fight back. Please have hope. We can certainly make a difference as time moves on. Thank you so much, and please spread this video like wildfire.